Hey, what's up? Thanks for hopping in the car with Christian Addiction Recovery, the channel where like minded individuals that face similar struggles can come so that we can learn and discuss new ways to live our best life possible and overall become the best versions of ourselves. Hey, I like to do this every once in a while and just kind of tell you a little bit of my testimony, kind of let you know what this channel's about. I struggled with addiction for a long time, and I say this often, but I wasn't like the everyday addict for 20 years, but I was always struggling with addiction, whether I was sober or not. And God saved me. And He had to get me to rehab. I had to overdose to finally submit to go to rehab. And, but He saved me. And one of the things that He saved me with was intentionality. A way to describe intentionality would be that what we focus on is what we gravitate toward. The way that the world looks at this, self improvement, but not Christian self improvement, they look at this as the law of attraction. And the way they look at it is it's right as far as that goes, is because if you are focusing on the negativity, even if you're trying to do better, like for instance, my example is uh, I would get sober, or I would make a decision that I don't want to use anymore. I want to get better. But in order for me to try to get better, all I was doing was focusing on what I needed to stay away from, what negative behaviors that I was still exhibiting that I wanted to get rid of. So my focus was just on me and what I was doing wrong, and try to stay away from this, try to stay away from that. But I wasn't putting any of that good information in on how to make that change. And one of the things that helped me to start putting that good intention into my thought process was mindfulness. You see, mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Okay? So that is just soaking in your environment, soaking in what you're seeing, what you're hearing, but really paying attention, making note of it. And what that does is it makes your brain stop thinking about the negative. It makes your brain stop thinking about everything else except for the present moment. Now, when you practice mindfulness, your brain is going to want to wander. That's okay. That's your brain. That's how God created our mind. It's a fantastic machine that is always trying to figure things out and create. That's what God created us for, so that we could be like Him and to create. But the enemy knows that that's what we're created for. So the enemy doesn't want us to be present. The enemy doesn't want us to be intentional about following God and intentional about making change in this world. The enemy doesn't want that. He knows a Christian that has good mental health and is mindful can absolutely change the world. Okay, so that is one of the reasons that he has been constantly trying to bombard this generation and the few generations before with just media and lies and distractions and false religions and just everything. But when you practice mindfulness, it strengthens that ability to put your focus on what you want to put your focus on. Someone described it to me like this: if picture this as your thoughts, and your thoughts start drifting, and then you pull it back, and then your thoughts start drifting and you pull it back, and what was that thing I ate yesterday? Nope, present moment. What was that I need to do tomorrow? Nope, present moment. And when you're doing that, just picture this as the muscle that is bringing that back, that attention back to the present moment. And the more you strengthen that muscle, the more you have the ability to stay in the present moment if that's where you want to be, or focus your intention on making change in your life if that's what you want to do. One of the things at the clinic that I went to that absolutely changed my life more than anything else was realizing how much I reacted to my environment, and that I had been programmed by this world. And my actions and my behaviors and all of those things, I was acting and behaving as someone that I did not want to act and behave as. But what I learned is that I could make change. I could reprogram my brain to have the correct thinking, to have the correct mindset, to experience pleasure and joy and contentment with just the everyday things of life that God has provided and put into my environment. I didn't always have to be striving and struggling. I could just focus on the person that I wanted to be and keep my focus on that person, and everything else started lining up because my focus and my intention was on this person that I wanted to become, that I knew I could become. But it is so important that you stop putting your attention on the things that distracted you in the first place, the things that threw you off course. You must start putting your focus on the things that are good, things that are honorable. This is something I wrote down and I think it's pretty good. And it's less about trying to change, and it's more about consuming the knowledge and the wisdom and gaining the experience that it takes to make the change. Like for me, it was the focusing on the benefits of yoga and exercise and walking and learning the neuroscience behind all these things. And I started to understand how this change could take place. And once I understood how the change could take place and that it was a possibility, I put my focus on that. I knew I wanted to do that. I wanted to do whatever I needed to do to become this person that is content and that loves life. This is sometimes known as intentional displacement. Okay? Basically, you're going to move so much good information in, so much good knowledge, so much knowledge about change in, that the other things, the addiction, the pornography, the drugs, the yearning for things of this world will start to disappear, will start to go away. You won't feel that same pull. Okay, but you have to start putting in the good. You have to start renewing your mind. It says, be not conformed to the patterns of the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's how you renew your mind. Our thought process works through neural pathways. When we think about a certain thing at a certain place or feel a certain emotion connected to a certain activity, that creates a neural pathway. Now, the more that is repeated, the more that we get stuck into those neural pathways, hence addictions. But on the flip side, what you can do is you can also trick your brain to get stuck into those neural pathways that are good, i.e. exercise, yoga, eating healthy, walking, meditation, mindfulness, all of these things. I now, after 2 years, have reprogrammed my brain to where I experience joy, peace, and contentment where I used to experience anxiety and depression. One of the things that I was thinking about when I was writing down the notes for this video was gratitude. When we are expressing gratitude, i.e. either journaling or just taking a moment to be mindful of the things that we're grateful for, what we are doing is we are putting our attention and our focus on the things that bring us joy in our life and bring us satisfaction and contentment. And what that does is when we are putting our focus on that gratitude and those things that we're grateful for, we are attracting those things back into our life for more blessings. So it's really up to us. Are we going to focus on the things of this world that the enemy tries to program us with and get overwhelmed and discouraged and all of those things? Or are we going to put our focus on good things, things that Christ tried to teach us? And that's why I highly recommend the teachings of Christ as the number one rule book of the way to be. He didn't teach religion. He didn't point out all these negative things. All he did was show us what love is. The enemy wants us to focus on this world. He wants to program us to be depressed and to be destroyed and to bring others down with us. That's what he wants. He has to use us to affect others so he can destroy us, and hopefully by destroying us, he can destroy others in our life, and then a chain reaction. That's what he wants to do. However, God sees you as his child, and he wants to give you his inheritance. He wants to give you your inheritance of his kingdom. That's what he wants to do. So he wants to make us into those children of God. So let's focus on that. Let's put our intention on who we want to be. Let's put our intention on the kind of people that we want to be like. And we can see real change in our lives. And when we change our lives in the way we see reality, that's how we change our world. Hey, appreciate y'all sticking around to the end of the video. If you're still here, smash the like for me one time. Comment down below. And guys, I didn't know, some people don't know this. That little subscribe button right there, that red button, it is totally free to click it. And that gives me a little bit of clout and gets my message out there a little bit further. Okay, so if you benefited from this at all, please share it around. Maybe somebody is focusing on the wrong things. Maybe this video can help them switch from being reactionary to be intentional. All right, I appreciate y'all. Peace.